It's time for the November 2023 Sheetload of Cards from Call Me Crafty Owl. Hey guys, it's Beth. Welcome. It's time for Call Me Crafty Owl's Sheetload of Cards for November of 2023. This is a collaboration, so there are other collaboration participants who are using this month's sketch. There will be a hashtag in the title and description that you can click on, and if that's not working for you, there will also be a playlist linked in the description box as well. So please be sure to check out everyone, as well as the link for Call Me Crafty Owl's Sheetload for November of 2023. I am using her sketch and cut list, and this month the Sheetload makes 8 cards, and she gives you all of the directions that you need to put together these 8 cards. This month is another special edition for 6x6. I, however, am still desperately trying to finish up this Colors of Autumn pad, and so I am going to be taking my 12x12 and cutting it down to 6x6 so that I can use it. And I'm also going to pull in some cardstock from the Pumpkin Spice pad. That kind of coordinates really well with the Colors of Autumn. So let's get some cards put together.
So the Sheetload calls for 4 different 6x6 patterns. I have 2 patterns, and then I have a border strip page that I'm going to try and use because there are a bunch of strips that are about 1/2 inch wide, which is what the Sheetload instructions call for. I'm going to take the tree pattern and that yellow plaidish pattern, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it down to 6x6 just so I have the starting point that Alicia calls for. And then I'm going to go ahead and the sketch calls for 2 kind of triangular pieces. I'm going to go ahead and cut those exactly as the cutting guide calls for, but I'm just going to do it on those 2 pattern sheets. And I did this first thing in the morning, so for some reason you see me pause and struggle a bit trying to make sure I get it right because I am not fully awake yet. So I'm doing the first step of cutting those down, cutting them into the rectangles, and then I will cut them diagonally. One thing that's great about Alicia's sketches is that, she gives you the full list of what you need in the sketch and the cutting guide. You really don't have to think too much unless you're doing something like me and kind of going off on your own direction a little bit. So here I'm trying to find the 1/2 inch strips. And so I'm going to have a bunch of different patterns of strips. I'm just going through those 2 pieces that I have and cutting anything that was about 1/2 inch wide. So I think I end up with 4 different patterns of strips. And so once I get the strips cut, all I have to do is cut those in half so that they are 6x6. So I finished the first page, and we're going to come down to the second page. And this is really the only part that I kind of veer away from her instructions. And it's really just because I wanted to try and use up as much of this pad as I could. And this was the perfect way to use that border strip page. So that's the only reason I decided to differ. So just kind of making sure that I'm going to have enough strips for 3 on each card, because again, it's early and math was hard. So I was going to be short, and so I kind of cut my own 1/2 inch strip from a larger border strip. So that's what I am doing here. And realized, okay, I needed some more. So I was able to get 2 out of that wood grain from 1 page. So this was the hardest part for me for some reason. Now I have all of my strips, and I'm going to take these rectangle pieces and cutting them down into the triangle shapes. And again, it was early, I did not pay proper attention, and the first one that I just cut it diagonally in half, and then I realized, oh wait, there was a thicker bit at the end of each triangle piece, so I needed to kind of skew them a little bit. So I did cut that first rectangle wrong, but I do figure it out from the second one going forward. So learn from me, pay attention, even when you're not fully awake. That's when you need to pay closer attention, apparently. So now I'm gonna get these last 4 of the yellow plaid cut. And I'm kind of focused more in my video on how I cut the pieces, just because I did vary from her cutting guide. I wanted to show you that sometimes you can make what you have work, even if you don't have exactly what she calls for. Next, I need the piece that kind of goes as the mat behind my triangles and strips. So I'm pulling in orange cardstock from the coordinating cardstock pad and just cutting those down. So I, again, used 12 by 12 cardstock instead of the 8.5 by 11 that she calls for. And so I was able to get 6 pieces out of each 12 by 12 sheet. So I just needed like 1 sheet and then kind of a third, I guess, or a quarter of another one. And so I ended up just cutting 1 strip like off of a full sheet and then got my last 2 pieces. So now that I have those, I have also die cut my vellum shapes. The vellum circles I use just stitch circle die cut. And then for my sentiments, I pulled in stickers from that sticker book that kind of coordinated with the colors in my pad. And now I'm going to go ahead and glue my triangles on. I'm not going to do every card with you because this, it's the same process for every card. So I will do 1 of each of the patterns with you, like the yellow plaid and then the brown, just so you can see how I did that part, because really putting it together was easy. The hard part for me was cutting, since I was kind of like going off on my own as far as the strips that I needed. I'm going to put together my last brown one, and then we'll add the strips on these last 2 with you. And I did follow the sketch such that I have 2 of 1 pattern strip and then 1, like a different pattern that goes in the middle. So I decided that the gold kind of worked really well with that brown, and then I liked the pop of red in the middle. And then on the yellow patterns, I tried to use more of the browns because I just thought those popped better. So once those are on, it's just a matter of trimming off the edges, the overhang. So I will do that to both of my mats. And then I get to put those on my card bases. I'm just using white card bases. And then once I get those on, I can add my vellum circles. And when I glue the vellum circles down, I glue behind my sticker. That's one nice thing about having something solid on the top of the vellum, is it gives you a place to glue it down and not see your glue. So I'm going to add this, and then those 2 cards are done.
So here are my 8 finished cards. And this is actually the very first one I cut that I cut wrong in 2 different ways, because I didn't leave more of a thicker edge over here, and then also I cut it so that it was like all the other cards, the thick side is over here, like this corner and this corner. This one's just backwards, but it still turned out fine. I still used it. So I ended up with 4 of the brown and then 4 of the yellow plaid. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching my process. Again, please be sure to check out all of the other collaboration participants. Everybody always has their own take on the sheet loads. I thank you all so very much for your time today and hope you all have a very crafty day.